It's great to see that level of detailed pushback from veterans, Michael.
Yeah, it is. And he went through and broke down that aspect of Project 2025. He talked about the Insurrection Act of 1807 and how it could be employed. I'm glad you showed the video of Mark Esper talking about Donald Trump wanting to shoot George Floyd protesters, okay, as well. So this gives more insight. I know it's 922 pages, and a lot of people said, and in some speeches, Vice President Kamala Harris jokingly says, can you believe they wrote this down? Yes, I can believe they wrote this down because this is the second time the Heritage Foundation has done this. They did this in 1980, and it was a book called Mandate for Leadership that contained 2,000 policies they wanted the Reagan administration to adopt. The Reagan administration adopted 64% of those policies in Reagan's first term. So and it's good that you have older white men who are breaking this down, who have military experience also, okay? And when he talked about Project 2025 attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion when it comes to the military, September 2020, Donald Trump signed an executive order banning the use of critical race theory when it came to training for federal employees. And that is what really sparked the attack on critical race theory. That was 6 months before Christopher Rufo did his series of tweets redefining what critical race theory was. See, that was March 2021. So this is excellent right here. We need to utilize this. We need to circulate this.
The folks at VotesBets put together this video, y'all, that they went through Project 2025 and laid out how devastating this plan could be to the nation's military. Check it out.
Project 2025.
Project 2025.
Project 2025. Project 2025. Project 2025. Deeper look at Project 2025.
You've probably heard about Project 2025, the 900-page manifesto drawn up by Donald Trump's Maga allies to radically remake our country. It's worth knowing about as you think about your vote, because this election is not just a choice of candidates. It's really a choice of the kind of country you would like to live in. Project 2025 is the MAGA Republican playbook to go around the Constitution, the Congress, and the courts, to take total control of our government, using it to enforce their ideology on our lives. The thing is, it's eminently doable. They've been planning this for years, and we'll be ready to go on day one should Donald Trump be elected. Let's look a little deeper at a section that's been overlooked in the media. Their plan to radically remake our military. If one were to write a credible roadmap to transform our democracy into a dictatorship, this is what it would look like. And a big part of that is to turn the most effective, professional, and nonpartisan fighting machine that the world has ever seen into Trump's MAGA military force. Ready, willing, and able to deploy against our fellow citizens should Trump issue an illegal order. It achieves this goal in 4 steps. First, it corruptly uses the power of the presidency to fire flag officers, generals, admirals, and so on, who they deem not sufficiently loyal to Trump. Second, it stops promoting anyone in the military who doesn't pledge allegiance to their agenda. Third, it obliterates military readiness programs that ensure our diverse forces know how to work together. Fourth, it actively recruits troops who may have been targeted for radicalization by white supremacists. And then, it enables the use of the Insurrection Act to deploy the military inside the country against political opponents, protesters, or just about anyone Donald Trump chooses. That's a lot. So let's walk through it. The first step in creating a military that is loyal to Trump and carries out whatever order Trump gives, legal or not, is to remove all obstacles at the top. That means clearing out generals, admirals, and others who would refuse to carry out illegal orders in accordance with the Constitution. Trump himself has made it clear.
I would fire them. You can't have woke military.
Project 2025 calls troops who follow the Constitution Marxist and says they are Barack Obama's General Officer Corps. Well, I served in uniform for over 30 years, following my father's footsteps, and my family still serves today. I can assure you that there aren't many Marxists in the military. So who are they looking to fire? Anyone who is loyal to the Constitution above all. Once they clear out top ranks, they will only promote MAGA loyalists. They falsely claim that promotions under previous administrations were illegitimate and that the antidote is to freeze promotions, even if people are in line and qualified, unless they are Maga loyalists. That clears way for Trump to move his hand-picked people into key military leadership positions in acting roles, sidestepping any Senate confirmation vote. And who might he choose? We're talking about people like disgraced retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who pled guilty to lying to the FBI in a Russian influence case, but was pardoned by Trump.
General Flynn, he's some general, he's some man. He took abuse like nobody could have handled, and he came out bigger, better, stronger than ever before. We love him. He's a leader. And you just stay wealthy and healthy and well and everything. I want you to have great lives in general. You just have to stay healthy because we're bringing you back. We're going to bring you back.
We're talking about retired Brigadier General Don Bolduc, a 2020 election denier who called for abolishing the FBI. Project 2025 then radically changes the culture of service. The report spills a lot of ink falsely arguing that the military spends most of its time on social engineering, Marxist indoctrination, critical race theory, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. It bashes transgender service members and kicks them out of the military. Anyone who has worn the country's uniform knows there is no Marxist indoctrination or social engineering going on. So what are they talking about? They're referring to programs that train our diverse armed forces how to respect each other and work together. This is key to unit cohesion and readiness. It's really a matter of life and death on the battlefield. They would abolish this training in order to remake a diverse fighting force into a political, homogenous MAGA military. Finally, Project 2025 curiously stresses the need to reward 8,400 troops who were discharged for refusing orders to be vaccinated against COVID during the pandemic. It rewards them with back pay and full restoration of rank to lure them back. Wonder why? Well, far-right conspiracy groups and white nationalists have spent years targeting people who are anti-vaccine to recruit and radicalize. They bury them in anti-government propaganda and MAGA conspiracy theories. These are not people you want to hand a military weapon to and hope for the best. So, how might President Trump use this MAGA military? Well, we don't have to guess. Think back to when he ordered his staff to deploy the military to shoot protesters demanding justice for George Floyd's murder. Just shoot them in the legs, he ordered. Unfortunately, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and his Secretary of Defense rightfully told him no.
What specifically was he suggesting that the U.S. military should do to these protesters?
He says, can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. And he's suggesting that that's what we should do, that we should bring in the troops and shoot the protesters.
Donald Trump learned that when people are loyal to the rule of law and the U.S. Constitution, they can stop him. He won't make that mistake again. Project 2025's own architect has warned us that violence may be used against anyone who gets in their way.
We are going to win. We're in the process of taking this country back. We are in the process of the Second American Revolution, which will remain bloodless if the left allows it to be.
From shooting Americans in the street if they protest, to sending the military door to door looking for immigrants to round up, to putting troops into domestic law enforcement roles akin to martial law, Project 2025 would empower all of Trump's worst instincts. The good news is the choice is in our hands. Your vote this fall makes the difference. And it's not just about the top of the ticket. We need to vote for candidates up and down the ballot who will block Project 2025 from ever becoming our nightmare reality. And we need to talk about it with friends, family, and neighbors. That's how we hold fast to an America where democracy rings free, where the people rule and the elected serve, where the government values our rights and protects our freedoms. And an America that continues to say, if you're willing and able to serve, there is a place for you in our armed forces. A military that still swears an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. It's up to us. Thank you.
See, I love the fact that you have veterans who are sick and tired of Republicans cloaking themselves in the flag and calling them out on their BS. And I think that's why videos like this, Michael and Kelly, are crucial, because what they do is they allow folks, you can't try to question their service. You can't try to question their commitment, even though we know these folks try to do that. We see that with Governor Tim Walz. They're trying with Governor Wes Moore. But it's great to see that level of detailed pushback from veterans, Michael.
Yeah, it is. And he went through and broke down that aspect of Project 2025. He talked about the Insurrection Act of 1807 and how it could be employed. I'm glad you showed the video of Mark Esper talking about Donald Trump wanting to shoot George Floyd protesters, okay, as well. So this gives more insight. I know it's 922 pages, and a lot of people said, and in some speeches, Vice President Kamala Harris jokingly says, can you believe they wrote this down? Yes, I can believe they wrote this down because this is the second time the Heritage Foundation has done this. They did this in 1980, and it was a book called Mandate for Leadership that contained 2,000 policies they wanted the Reagan administration to adopt. The Reagan administration adopted 64% of those policies in Reagan's first term. So, and it's good that you have older white men who are breaking this down, who have military experience also, okay? And when he talked about Project 2025 attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion when it comes to the military. September 2020, Donald Trump signed an executive order banning the use of critical race theory when it came to training for federal employees. And that is what really sparked the attack on critical race theory. That was 6 months before Christopher Rufo did his series of tweets redefining what critical race theory was. See, that was March 2021. So this is excellent right here. We need to utilize this. We need to circulate this.
And here's the thing here, Kelly. This is a video where the leader of Project 2025 makes clear that without Donald Trump, this doesn't exist. Watch this, and I want to get your comment.
When I suspect this project wouldn't exist if we didn't have the Trump administration, where you had a new maverick candidate who didn't have the machinery of the party necessarily like lining up and everybody from previous administrations helping out. And so you had this situation where it became clear that something like this is very necessary.
Well, that's quite true. I would say even more necessary in kind of the circumstances you describe, because even a we'll call it an establishment candidate where everybody just sort of wanders back in, but they're not particularly conservative, then they're more open, they know what to do more, there's less chaos, but they're less likely to actually seek to implement conservative policies. So there's a trade-off there, and we're trying to overcome the downside of that trade-off.
So when I suspect this...
You heard him. There's a trade-off there. Kelly?
It is terrifying to me that this could possibly actually happen, because it would truly be the end of how America is perceived, how America functions as we know it. The reason why those people think that but for Trump, this would not be happening is because, frankly, he's the only quasi-politician, because he's not even a full-fledged politician, let's be honest. He is the only vessel who would be dumb enough to enact this and think it's not going to affect him, that it's not going to affect his families, etc. So it is imperative that people understand that this is not a joke. And you should also take into consideration with this ad in particular that, yes, they are veterans, but note how you don't know what their political party is. You don't know what their ideologies are. All you know is that they are against Project 2025. And the reason for that is Project 2025 is anti-American. And when you're talking about a group of people being veterans whose lives have been dedicated to protecting the America that we know, that people love, that people respect, for all of these people to be on board and be like, I don't know what this is, but it's not American, that should tell you something. That should tell you something.
Indeed, indeed. All right, folks, hold tight 1 second. We come back. I want to talk about this case out of Louisiana. And if you want to understand why federal courts are so important, you want to understand why there's a difference between a President Kamala Harris or a Donald Trump in the Oval Office. Y'all know I can never call that man president. So I'm going to use every other iteration possible. It's what happened out of Louisiana and the extremely conservative U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. I will explain that next right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Study Network.
Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, so you can register for this full 12-week online history course. And I'm getting ready to, as soon as I finish this broadcast, we're going to jump in the class of my online school and start teaching class number 1. So these classes will be on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're running a little behind schedule today, so I had to get everything set up. But go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, scroll down the page. You'll see the second class that I teach, Black Resistance Movements, Christopher Columbus, the Haitian Revolution, and Black Power Movement, 1492 to 1968. We do that on Sundays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So click right here to register for the second course. You can register for the course bundle for both classes on sale for $120. Click right here to register for the course bundle. This content is PG-13, so you can use this with your children also. I don't do a lot of cursing. It's nothing like that. It's a very visual class. So we have 200 slides in the PowerPoint presentation, video clips that we look at, book references, 80 to 100 articles. And then we have class number 1 of Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade. Click right here to register for that. And the class lesson plan is here for the full course. You can download the class lesson plan. Okay, so there's a ton of information that we cover in this class. I'm just giving you a brief overview. Okay, so have you all learned anything so far? How do you all like this type of information? And who still needs to register for this class? So when we scroll down, we look at some of the other content that we'll cover. We'll look at archaeological discoveries that keep causing the scientists and archaeologists and paleontologists to push the timelines back. And these are archaeological discoveries that show an African presence in parts of the world earlier than people thought. Okay, so there was one good article, Recap Humans Are 100,000 Years Older Than We Thought. This is from the New York Post. We'll look at the lost city. There were 2 lost cities of Egypt. One, dazzling Aten, which was discovered a few years ago, but then also Tanis Heraklion, which was discovered about 2013. Tanis Heraklion.